I think Trey Lance is ready. I respect Joe Montana. He played the position. He talked to some players, and he knows what he's talking about. But respectfully, I disagree. I don't know what ready means. I guess it's a tough argument to have because there's no actual definition of ready. But let's compare him to Jimmy Garoppolo. First of all, hold on. Who is more ready for this job than Trey Lance? To me, only one person in the world ready, and it's Jimmy, because Jimmy's been on this team in this offense since 2017. That's 5 years of experience. Kyle's big on that. You got to be in my offense for 2 years. Well, this will be Trey's second year in the offense. Can't say that about any other quarterback other than Nate Sudfeld. So in that sense, he is ready. He knows the system, unless he just didn't study anything. And they didn't say that. He knows the system. He's been here a year. He has a tremendous supporting cast that'll make life easier for him. He has a coach who's going to learn to make life easier for him the way he did for Jimmy, just in other ways. And even in his limited exposure, 2.5 games, 7 touchdowns, 2 picks. I mean, that's the 3.5 to 1 ratio. Like when Jimmy first came in the league, his first year, he won those games, but his ratio was like 7 to 5. So I think there's a lot pointing to Trey Lance being quote unquote ready, whatever that means.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at stepping in and replacing a quarterback who, if we're honest, as far as production goes, is not lighting the world on fire, right? It's not as if you're attempting to recreate a 4,200-yard passing season. You know, Trey Lance has the added advantage of throwing for fewer yards than Jimmy and still gaining the same number of yards from scrimmage because he is going to get some yards with his legs. It's inevitable, right? Even if you don't have designed runs, he is going to accrue 400 or 500 yards this coming season if he stays healthy through the entirety of it.
Well, the problem with Jimmy to me is that his TD to INT ratio is so consistently like below the league average, 2 to 1 or lower, that you can't justify throwing a lot with him. You can't. It's not big. It's not like big risk, big reward. Like with Brett Favre, you could let's throw 40 times. He'll throw 2 picks, but he'll throw 4 touchdown passes. It'll be cool. Jimmy's not like that. So it's all about throwing 25 times.
Yeah. And what I would say in having to replace those yards from Garoppolo, that even if there is that slight drop off from Lance, that the one thing to hang your hat on with Trey Lance in his limited snaps this year, but going back to his days at North Dakota State, is that turnover margin. He was marginally better, small sample size, marginally better than Aaron Rodgers this season as far as advanced metrics as it comes to attempts and turnovers to touchdown ratio. Like it was great. And yeah, small sample size, but go back to North Dakota State. I mean, he absolutely can be judicious with the ball. And if he limits those turnovers and produces fewer yards, that still sets the 49ers up for equal to or better than success in 2021 going forward into 2022.
And remember, they're not asking him to be Joe Montana. No. They're not asking him to be Steve Young or to replace someone like that, an MVP Hall of Fame caliber quarterback. They're asking him to be a game manager, manage the game, hand off, throw 25 times. And I think what kind of frustrated me and a lot of people about Jimmy is like, even in a role like that where they're like, dude, 24, 25 passes, manage the game, he's still throwing interception. It's like, you don't understand your role here, man. Like it's not your role to go into Lambeau, roll out of the pocket, and attempt that throw 25 yards down the field. That's not throw the ball. You throw the ball away. Mahomes throws. Josh Allen maybe Trey Lance, but not you. Really, Lance just has to come in and manage the game.
Yes,
hand off a lot, and he can help the running game by participating in it. That too.
Absolutely. And let's look at the trend that you uncovered with Jimmy Garoppolo and his inability to throw the ball away or unwillingness to throw the ball away. Trey Lance, on the other hand, Fred Warner had to come to him in practice and say, Trey, we need you to take more of these shots. You're being too conservative. So his tendency is towards that conservative nature. And with the defense that we saw put on the field this year, if we're able to replicate that with DeMeco Ryans coming back, that sets up for a good situation in these close games for the 49ers to be contenders week in and week out.
And if his job starts out very humble, you're the game manager, your job is to hand off and throw 18 to 25 times a game, take a couple of shots that are schemed up and will probably be wide open. But otherwise, your job is to not turn the ball over, be a game manager, and then build from there. I think he's capable of doing that. And also enhance the run game. This is a run game you think, man, the Niners had the best run game in the league last year. No, it ranked 16th in yards per carry. And that wasn't because of the offensive line or the running backs or the tight end or the fullback. It was because of, in my opinion, Jimmy. You have a quarterback who's, first of all, not part of the run game, is 10 on 11, makes it tough. And then he's not challenging you down the field. So it's just a very compressed box. Trey Lance is going to just space everything out. If you overcommit to the run, he will take the shot. And 11 on 11 will produce a more efficient yards per carry, higher yards per carry than 10 on 11. That's just math.
And the Niners also seem to be, they had fewer long runs this season. Elijah Mitchell had some medium length runs, but he didn't always make that right cut in the second level to extend that play, to pick up those chunk yards. But you would think there will be some additional long runs this coming season as long as Trey Lance is a starter when the defense completely turns their back to the line of scrimmage. That will present options where Trey picks up 30, 40 yards on the defense because all the defenders are downfield and they're not crowding the box in the way that they would with Jimmy Garoppolo.
I keep going back, and we'll move on. I keep going back to the Raiders preseason game. And I know the Raiders weren't playing a lot of starters, but you could just see it was interesting. Kyle would bring in Jimmy for a play, then Trey for a play. And I'd never seen anything like it. It was fun. It was cool. It was preseason, but they were just handing off. And you could really see the difference, in my opinion, just in how much bigger the gains were when Trey was handing off compared to Jimmy, because Trey froze the whole defense. They're like, oh my God, is he going to have the ball? And
Right.
no, it's Mostert, and he's gone. And it's 15 yards. So maybe that was 6 months ago. Maybe that's the way I remember it. But I really think just the presence of him on the field will have the Niners go from whatever they were, 16th in yards per carry, to probably 8th or better. And the big play element will come back. I think he's ready. Is he going to be a Pro Bowler next year? I don't know. But hold on. The coach has something he wants to add. Coming in, dropping twomps. Dub. What's up, coach? He's very generous. Ready only mattered when there was another option, i.e. Jimmy. There are examples of quarterbacks who started slow, were managed into finally taking over the reins. At pick 3, Trey at worst should be able to do the same as time. Yeah, man, like just manage the game. Let Debo, let it be about everyone else the way Jimmy did, and then just make fewer mistakes and build from there. It's not asking a lot.
It's not, and you can't be afraid to find out whether you were wrong or right with that pick at number 3. Like it's time to put your money where your mouth is. You invested all this. Let's see.
And frankly, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Jimmy really is better than I think, but I think you can find a Jimmy-esque quarterback to back up Trey if Trey gets hurt. And you can go back to the same offense he ran with Jimmy and have similar results. Like I really feel that the big differences between Colt McCoy and Jimmy Garoppolo is one got drafted by the Patriots and one got drafted by the Browns. If Colt McCoy got handpicked by Bill Belichick and got to sit in meetings with Tom Brady, it's like, well, then everyone look at him differently. But no, He went to the Browns and started right away, and everyone that does that is screwed. So what would Jimmy look like if he was like, hey, 2014, you're the Browns starting quarterback. Go get him, buddy. He would have failed there, and he would be on his next. You know what I mean? It's just – so look, I think the Niners can definitely revert back to that style of play with someone better than Nick Mullins. They can get a actual starting quarterback who can do a lot of what Jimmy did and give Trey a chance. Give Trey a chance, as John Lennon might have said.
You would think that you could win 9 or 10 games with a Jacoby Brissett, a Teddy Bridgewater. Like with this team, the way in which it's constructed, I tend to agree. Replicating that double-digit win season shouldn't be impossible with one of the quote-unquote backup quarterback options that are out there right now.
Teddy Bridgewater is pretty perfect. I mean, in my opinion, there's nothing Jimmy can do that he can't do, and plus he can move a little bit better than Jimmy. Right. They both get hurt. Sean Shepard says, you think that Mostert would be better on our team instead of with the Rams or Green Bay? Trask has Mully's skill except no bounce pass. Surprised with Montana's take. Yeah, some guy thinks Carr is all pro. Let's go back to the beginning. Mostert. I love Mostert. I advocated the Niners to give him a big extension and raise, even though they already gave. And I feel like, you know what? As much as I like running backs, I'm never going to advocate the Niners to sign another one. I think it's a cruel world. It's a cold world.
Yep.
But Mostert proves 2 things. Good ones are easy to find. They're not durable. I mean, I'm sorry. So I love Mostert, but I think what you do is you just keep drafting or signing undrafted free agents, because every time the Niners do something else, it doesn't work. Yes, every time.
I would only bring back Mostert. I hate to say it because it sounds cruel and it's not intended that way, but as a business decision, the only way I'm bringing back Mostert if I'm the 49ers is if he doesn't get significant interest elsewhere and you can do a 1-year prove-it deal for him, even though that doesn't feel right to do to Mostert.